Hello, welcome to Spotlight, cutting through the clouds of dullness with artistic joy.
Spotlight, brought to you by the Isle of Man Arts Council.
This evening, a revealing chat with the director and cast member from the Two Feathers production of A Full Monty. We head up north to hear about the Mannin Arts Exhibition later this month. Rudyard Kipling's Jungle Book takes to the stage in Manx. And more from Helen Jessup on this year's LitFest. Remember, do get in touch with any creative artistic endeavours you may be involved in, planning, hoping to create, or would really like to put in the spotlight. Poetic, visual, theatrical, musical, literary, mime, all the usual list. You can add what you like. Just email spotlight@manxradio.com or Howard Kane, that's with an E, the Kane, at manxradio.com, and get it on the air. There can be few who haven't seen the classic film The Full Monty, starring Robert Carlyle, the tale of a group of unemployed men who try to make some extra cash by staging a strip show. It's been seen on the Manx stage once before, but now, due to popular demand, one imagines, it's being staged again by Two Feathers Productions. Director David Artis and actor Alex Toohey told me more.
I'll help you take off your shoes.
The premise of the show is exactly the same as the film, the very famous film of the early 90s. Yeah, no difference at all, just put to music.
Okay. And what sort of cast have we got then? Because it's you obviously need a, what's the word I should say? A lively cast, a cast who are prepared to have few inhibitions.
Exhibitionists, we like to call them. Yeah, no, I was quite worried about this when we cast it because, you know, it's not the half Monty, it's the full Monty. They go the full way at the end. So I thought, well, how are we going to find these people from? And they were queuing around the block. So I've said that probably in a different life and a different dimension that you'd find them on Hyde Park with a long Mac, you know. But now they're given an outlet, which is the Gaiety stage, and the Manx public will be completely in awe of what we've got to show them.
As it were, yeah. Have you got the long Mac, Alex?
I don't, as it happens. No, when it did come to casting this, as Dave says, you know, it's. We had to. Well, I called a lot of the same guys to see if they were available, because I knew that it would be a done deal. I knew they'd done it before. They had no inhibitions, and it was a very short conversation with all of them. They all jumped at the chance, and as time's gone on, a couple of them have had to drop out, moving off island, and again, it was very easy to recast those parts.
And have we got? So there's new blood in as well as some of the old blood. So some of the ones from prior production, but new blood in as well.
It's about 50-50, to be honest. But yeah, it's look, we had a run last night, and you know the new people who haven't done the show before bring another energy to it. But again, you know, new faces. Everyone's getting on so well. It's just a fantastic show. It's hilarious, and we're all having a great time doing it.
The choreography then, because obviously it is. I'm assuming the dance routine from the show again. I assume that's the sort of thing you'd be doing as the sort of showpiece of the actual overall.
You'd recognise some of the moves. I mean, everyone remembers the scene in the dole queue where the guys just, you know, subconsciously start dancing, right? They start moving their shoulders. So that is in this show. And yet, look, it's a musical. So, you know, the people bought the rights for this and decided they actually purposed it for Broadway and Americanized it a bit. We brought it back to the UK somewhat with accents, but yeah, it is a musical, so there's dancing in it. Now the guys, are of a certain
a bunch of Wayne Sleeps.
Yeah,
you know, we only have to do a slick dance at the end. You know, it's the journey you take to get there.
Oh yeah,
and then bless Lisa Quayle. No, she's a fantastic choreographer. We adore her to bits.
So we better name check the six guys, I suppose. Then I know the wonderful David Castro, isn't it?
Yes,
he is. Yeah, horse by name, horse by nature. That's the line in the show. I don't know.
I did recognise.
I don't know him too well in that respect. There's myself. I play a character called Jerry, which is the Robert Carlyle character from the movie. We have David Cowley. We have Alex Maxwell, and Nigel Tyres and Ben Heath as well, who plays Big Fat Dave.
Yeah, some wonderful characters there. What drew you to the part? Is it something you'd always fancied doing? Is it something? Are you a natural exhibitionist?
I was very fortunate. Do you know what? Only in the privacy of my own home. But I was very fortunate. I played this same role a number of years ago. David cast me, and I think he described me as the best actor on the Isle of Man at the time. I'm only joking. But it's the one show where I've had. It's given me the biggest buzz. From being on stage. And I mean, if you can imagine it, Howard, you're standing on stage completely naked and you feel that breeze between your legs,
through the nether regions,
hundreds of people in front of you. It just overwhelms the senses. And I just thought, before I get too old, before I get to David's age, I wanted to have that experience again. So I got the rights, and I just thought, let's just get on with this and hopefully have the same experience. But it is going to be, even though it's the same show, it's just going to be it's reworked, and it's just going to be a feast for the eyes and ears of the Isle of Man.
Terrific. And music-wise, is there a band involved, or is this actually coming off a soundtrack? Or
no? So there's an orchestra in the pit. We're all about live theatre, and that includes live music as well. I mean, look, tracks have its place. Used them in pantos before, but this is the full experience, and the full Monty in terms of the band. Yeah, so
absolutely.
We've got a band which is
dressed,
dressed, maybe, don't know, dutifully headed by the fabulous Dave Holland and his great band. Yeah, so look, yeah, it is. When you say that, are they dressed or not? Now, this show does weird things to people, so I wouldn't discount them taking their tops off and pretending they're naked. I wouldn't know, to be honest. Did they do it last time?
I don't know, but they definitely caught a lot of our clothes anyway.
But I've never experienced an audience reaction like we had last time, and we fully expect it to be this time as well. I mean, I don't know whether you know, but we've got both Saturdays have an early evening performance and a late evening performance. So there's a 5 o'clock and there's a 9 o'clock, and guess what happens at 9 o'clock? Yeah,
that's the idea.
That does sound dangerous.
Yeah, it is a little bit, but no. But that adds to the fear, adds to the excitement. I think is probably the better word.
I can't wait.
Right then, you better give us the time, dates, place, and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
It's the show starts on the 15th of July till the 22nd, and as David said, on both Saturdays there are 2 shows, one at 5 p.m. and one at 9 p.m. 7:30 Monday to Friday. Tickets can be got from the usual outlets, villagator.com, or call them 600 555. I'm not practicing this at all. But whilst I'm here as well, I want to say a massive thank you to our principal sponsor, Zedra, who, without their support, we could not do this show at all. It's been invaluable. And we want to thank them from the bottom of our heart.
No, it's really important because the arts struggle, and it's a huge risk, especially if you're taking on the financial risk yourself. You need help like that, otherwise these projects would never ever get off the ground. And I should say, just to round it all off, this is a show for both sexes. It's got a really important, poignant story. Alex's
there is, isn't it? In behind the sort of all the comedy and all the stripping, whatever, there is, of course, as you said, that really wonderfully poignant storyline.
No, there is.
Yeah, they're all serious issues, and dealt with with a comedy element as well. And as such, we've got a list of charities who are collecting after the shows, and they we've tried to be selective in the charities that will benefit from those kind of topics, and. Back to Zedra, their charity of choice is Mannin Cancer Support Group, and recently we held a golf day as well to raise some money for them, and they deal predominantly with male cancers. I think prostate cancer is the prime one with them. So yeah, it's a lot of serious issues dealt with, very tongue-in-cheek and in a very funny way. But as David says, it's a show for everyone.
And again, the show starts this Saturday, the 15th. It runs through to the 22nd. 2 shows on the Saturdays. It's bound to be popular. Get your tickets now. And if you're feeling frisky, go for one of the late night shows, if there are any tickets left.
Spotlight. Brought to you by the Isle of Man Arts Council.
From stripping off to putting on. An exhibition, that is, which is exactly what the Mannin Art Group are doing in Ramsey later this month. The president of the group is Ronnie Doyle, and I asked him if the exhibition would be featuring work from all of the members.
Some people are quite shy. They don't feel that their quality of work is up to exhibiting. But more and more, they've built up confidence over the years. So, yeah, we have got members who are not active members as such. So they come along and they bring their pieces for that particular exhibition. But it is an open exhibition. So non-members can come in, pay a small fee to hang their paintings. And then I think currently now it's 20% of the sale price goes back into the art group. So
marvellous. And this is, I said, taking place between those days. This is in the hall, in the same hall, is actually being
exhibited? It's all in St. Paul's Hall. So parking is no problem down in Market Square. And where we go through periods of being quiet for the viewings, and then you get massive rush of people. But we usually do very, very well. So this year, again, we're hoping, now that we're well out of the COVID, people get out of the habit of going out and doing things. So we've been going again now for a couple of years or so since COVID.
And so do you get a wide range of media that people work in?
Yeah, well, personally, I'm watercolour, although I've recently gone in also to pen and wash. But there aren't that many of us who do watercolour. A lot of people go for acrylics now. Some do oil, but acrylics and pastel. So it is, and mixed media. So it's and then there's sculpture. We have one guy, Chris Fairgrieve, who's been in the group now for a while, and Chris is a fantastic wood carver, and he brings out some beautiful pieces. So yeah, we've got across the range. We've got a good mix of styles and medium.
And it's interesting you're saying that within the group itself that's been more men coming in, and that sort of changed the sort of the output of the group a little bit.
Well, the dynamics have changed a bit. There's it's like art has always been. I remember way back when I was in boarding school in Dublin, it was a bit of a thing to for a guy to be interested in art. It was considered slightly sissy. But thank goodness that's all changed over the years. And it's interesting because some of the greatest artists in the world have been men anyway. But fortunately, we've a lovely mix of women and men. So, yeah, you get it, the dynamics of it are different. And the whole culture, I can't really say any more except that the whole culture of the group is live and let live and help each other. And work together, and it's that sort of atmosphere. It's friendly, filled with enthusiasm, and some very good work is produced. We've some very talented female artists, a couple of guys who are not bad,
or as well. And are these people? Because again, is it the sort of thing you think you can take up later in life, or is it sort of? Are most of the members, have they been sort of artists all their lives? Or?
Well, it's very interesting that because I never took up art. Well, I did when I was at way back, as I say, in school in Dublin. And I did it in my equivalent of A-levels, the leaving certificate. And I never touched it again because I had my own business and raising a family. And it was only in 2001, my wife and I were on one of our Italian holidays. And I was inspired to take up a biro and an envelope, and I started sketching what I saw. And my wife looked at it and said, right, when you go back home to the island, you're going to join an art group and take up art. And that was in 2001. So I was 55 then.
So you've never looked back since?
And I've never looked back, and I absolutely love it. The only thing I regret, Howard, is that I never realised that I loved it so much and that I had the ability to do it all those years previously.
I suppose, as you say, when you're busy, you're working, you've got your own business, you're bringing up family, there's not a lot of free time often, is there?
No, there isn't. Your mind is on raising your children, providing for them, and holding your business together. So, yeah, that's just the way it goes. But I've loved it ever since.
So, terrific exhibition coming up. I know I've dropped into it before, and being opened by the Governor as well, I see.
Yeah, well, the Governor actually, Sir John Cant on this occasion. So we've got our Chief Minister, Alf Cannon.
Lovely.
He's coming along. And we've got Albie Oldham, who's leader of the Ramsey Town Commissioners. So he's going to be there as well. So I think Michael Starkey actually is opening the show.
Excellent.
So everyone
Very
knows
well known.
Michael. Yeah.
Absolutely. So just remind us then the dates and the times when people can come along and enjoy all this art. And I assume quite a lot of it will be for sale if people want to take something and make their own homes more beautiful.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, on the dates, Howard, it's July 27th to August 5th inclusive, and that goes right through on Sundays as well. And yes, not the whole purpose of it is, but the point of it is to exhibit what we do, what our talents are, where we're at, and hopefully that people will either buy originals, but they can buy prints if they contact somebody or let the artist know that they would like a print, because the actual painting itself, the original, is going to be too expensive, which is understandable. Well, then we can do prints. But yeah, everything's available for sale.
And again, that exhibition from the 27th of July through to the 5th of August. Lots of the work is for sale. Put a note in your diary, drop in. Oh, we'll hear a little more about the Mannin Art Group itself from Ronnie next week.
Tammy Corrinish, Curtin
Shere Khan, the Bengal tiger from Rudyard Kipling's evergreen classic, The Jungle Book. The name Shere Khan, by the way, translates roughly as tiger ruler. And he will feature, along with all of the other classic characters, in a brand new musical production of Jungle Book in Manx Gaelic. It's been created and written by Helen Cunningham and Annie Kissack from the Bunskull Gilgach, but it's being staged at the Peel Centenary Centre. Helen told me it was something a little bit different for them.
That's right, yes. Annie Kissack and I have adapted the story of The Jungle Book into Manx Gaelic as a play, and we've written 17 exciting new songs to produce it as a musical.
Terrific. So where did this idea come from then?
Well, we have got a sort of store of 7 musicals. We try and put one on a year, and we'd done lots of traditional tales, and we decided to go for The Jungle Book for this year's one.
Oh, okay. So, and again, so there's purpose-written music, and everything is obviously going to be in Manx Gaelic.
That's right, but don't let that put you off if you don't understand any Manx, because the children are such good actors and the music's so great, anyone could enjoy it.
So, yeah, it's an interesting concept in many ways. So the story, is that following the original Rudyard Kipling?
It's a little bit of both. So it's mainly the Kipling version, but the car is pretty much as in Disney.
Okay, so do we have the characters that people have seen? I suppose they'll be familiar with if not the book, maybe the cartoon or the film and such like. So do we have all the Shere Khan and the Baloos and such like?
We do. We've got Baloo, Bagheera, Mowgli, and we've got a marvellous, enormous, scary puppet Shere Khan.
The costumes, have these been made in-house as well?
Parents have been wonderful and provided costumes.
Oh, very ambitious. And have the kids been enjoying it then? Because I suppose I was sort of brought up on Jungle Book, and I imagine you were as well. Did the kids relate to it still?
They do. Most of them have seen the Disney version, and for our English lessons we've been reading the Kipling, which has been as our classic text, and they've really enjoyed the rich language in that.
Yes, and are they buying into the sort of the characters and the movement? I take it sort of there's dance and sort of lots of movement as well on the stage.
Absolutely, yeah. We've got some big dance numbers, and everybody's involved in that, and we're having a lot of fun.
So it's a genuine family show then, or suitable for everyone?
Absolutely. Little children might be a little scared by the tiger.
I was scared by the tiger and the snake. So give us the date, time, places, how people get tickets.
Get tickets through the Centenary Centre website. Only £5 for adults and £3 for under 18s. And the performances will be on the 13th and 14th of July, Thursday and Friday at 7 p.m.
Terrific. And this is, am I right thinking this is a bit of a sort of first? Because normally are they just in the Bunskull itself? Is it a bit different taking it down to the Centenary?
That's right. We usually perform in the Methodist Hall next door to the Bunskull, but we thought we'd go for the magic of the theatre with lighting and a big stage.
Excellent. I don't know how to say it in Manx, but break a leg.
Go my head.
Sounds great, doesn't it? It's on tomorrow the 13th and the 14th. It's bound to be a great evening's entertainment, whether you speak Manx or not. Finally, we heard from Helen Jessup last week about this year's LitFest, but there's so much going on we couldn't fit it all in one show, and there's plenty more lined up for 2023.
So we've got Jay Hume coming over. He's our poet this year.
Mm-hmm.
He has won lots of awards. He's written some wonderful books. Clouds Cannot Cover Us. He's recently had a children's book out, which he's done sort of the writing for. It's absolutely beautiful. But he's coming over and he's doing quite a few events. So he's got his standalone event on the Sunday evening. He's doing a workshop on the Sunday morning at Windsor Coffee in Douglas. And that's limited because it's a workshop. You want it to be a little bit more intimate,
yes,
so he can get round and give everybody a little bit of help and advice. He's also going to be comparing our new poetry event, which is something I'm very, very excited about. So the Manx LitFest celebration of poetry will be happening on the Saturday night. And we've decided to do a new poetry event that celebrates different types of poetry. So we are still going to have the performance side of it that's a little bit competitive. We're not having a panel of judges, so everybody who attends on the night will get a vote. So it's audience sort of participation in that way. So audience will vote on entertainment value of the poems, which ones they like best. But it's a popular vote, isn't it? Then we've got the other performers will be voting for each other in a different category on content and form. And then Jay will also have Compare's Choice. So there's 3 different chances to win in that. And then we're also going to have a dedicated space for people who have published poetry, if they want to display any of their books or pamphlets or leaflets, information boards where they can put where we can find their poetry, where we can find events that they're doing. It's just a way for people to really promote and celebrate everything to do with their poetry. So rather than just the competitive side, it's about everything they give to poetry, everything they do, everything they put out, just to really celebrate the art form and the poets as a whole, which I've spoken to some of the poets who we've had performing with us in the past, so it's really a collaboration with some of them as well, saying this is what we would like out of a poetry event. And to be able to do that is really, really a lovely thing to do, to celebrate it in such a big way, because there's nothing currently at the moment other than if you're publishing and putting out your written poems for people to go and see it sort of out and about, in one sort of space. So the poetry trail and things, they all happen, and you've got all of the other published poetry happening. But to be able to go to one event one night and see, oh, here's all the websites where you can go and find everyone's work, and here's their personal Facebook pages or whatever, people can really promote themselves to poetry lovers. And hopefully it's going to be a really, really lovely night out as well for everyone, so they can come listen to some poetry being performed, listen to Jay perform some of his, promote some of their other work as well.
That sounds really nice. And again, there is, I know, a booming poetry sector on the Isle of Man, and there's lots of well-known names, I think, doing poetry. And I always am fascinated whenever we talk poetry here, and that, as you say, there's the 2 elements, aren't there, of the sort of the performance of poetry and the writing of poetry. And sometimes, I'm often surprised at how you find people who you might have known for ages who do actually write a bit of poetry, but they don't actually perform it. They do it because they just like writing, they like doing it. It's something they almost do for themselves, and either through maybe they don't feel confident enough, or they just have no desire to actually perform it as such, but they love writing it.
Yes. Yeah, we want to give everybody a chance, even if they want to put some of their poems down anonymously, because sometimes it's so scary because you're sort of opening yourself up by that. But there will be a space you can put down anonymous poems, hang around the table, listen to what people say, get a bit of anonymous feedback if you like. Just a way to celebrate all types of poetry is the plan.
That's about it for this week. Don't forget, if you want to hear anything again, go to manxradio.com, download the Spotlight podcast, listen where and when you want. Why not try it whilst sitting on the summit of Greba on a summer's evening, watching the sun go down? See you next week. Look after yourselves, whatever you're doing. Be creative about it. Cheerio.